Vinyl Venture Diggers, are you ready for a great show? Because today's show, we're going to talk about Record Store Day 2026 in April.
At least here locally for the place that we go, this has been the biggest record store day they've had. And it's the 19th one. So next year is 20 years, which is hard to believe that this wave has been going for
And
2 decades.
It's still building.
Which is amazing. But this year, I think part of the reason that it was the biggest one, at least locally and probably across the country, there was such a huge amount of things available.
It was a good variety.
Yeah, a really good cross-section of different types of releases. And I really think that that's what brings people out. I mean, it's not rocket surgery to figure that out.
No.
But yeah, it is. It's what brings people out, and more people, for better or worse, are on the vinyl wagon. Right?
Yeah, and it's the funny thing is, it's a cross section. There are a lot of people our age there, but there are a lot of people a lot younger than us.
Yeah, the guy there
and
was
his daughter, who's getting ready to go to college, and she's way into vinyl.
Yeah, and the few people ahead of us with the Lana Del Rey jacket with all the Lana Del Rey patches. I mean, there's a lot. And, the female side of it, you can attribute that to those artists like T Swift and Lana Del Rey. And, that it's great to see them getting in it too, because for a long time, the vinyl collecting world kind of seemed very.
It was a dude ranch.
It was a dude ranch. So, well, let's go ahead and just get right into it. What are some of the favorites that you made away with on Record Store Day?
Well, this is and I know it's unusual for me to talk about jazz, but this is a Jazz Dispensary album, and they do. I don't know how long they've been doing these collection releases on RSD Day, but it seems like ever since I've been going to Record Store Day, they've had a release.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's kind of a collection. This one is samba and like Brazilian.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites because it has a different feel. And I'm really drawn to the South American style music.
World music.
Yeah.
It kind of has that world music feel to it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's great because it's collected and put together for not just people who love jazz, but for people like Wheels who aren't necessarily big jazz fans. And I love the artwork on it. It's super cool. And to just sometimes, like we've talked about with Greatest Hits, it's nice to put something on and just let it go, right? It's nice to say, hey, I want to dig into some jazz, but, I don't have that much. And this gets your feet wet so that you can, experience some different corners of jazz that maybe you wouldn't aim your crosshairs at if it weren't for a collection like this.
For me, one of the things that makes it so palatable, makes jazz a little more palatable, is sometimes there's some vocals, but each one is like its own little mixtape.
Right.
Because they do themes.
Right.
Like, they've done At the Movies, The Golden Hour, Hotel, which was the Hotel Yola Dame. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. I'm messing it up.
No, the Jazz Dispensary ones are really cool. And there's, the jazz world benefits from this vinyl thing too. There's always a Miles release. This year it was a 10-inch. I didn't get it. But yeah, we both picked up the Jazz Dispensary. And it's not that often that we're at a Record Store Day and I get a jazz record and John gets it too. So that's an excellent example.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Steely Dan's live album that came out in 1994. It's Alive in America. And it's a great collection Because Steely Dan originally was a studio and touring band, and then they just became a studio band and were kind of doctors of the studio. They found the best musicians. They auditioned those musicians. They recorded all of the songs on the albums with different musicians sometimes and put together the album according to the way each song felt with said musicians. And then, in the early 90s, they started playing live shows again. And I don't know why that is. I can't imagine they needed the money. I feel like it was more that maybe technology lent itself to being able to recreate the sounds they had on the albums live. And this is such a great cross-section of Steely Dan's hits. And I love the cover with like the mummy carrying the woman, the Bride of Frankenstein or whatever. It's just super cool. And then, you've got all of their hits, Babylon Sisters, Third World Man, Kid Charlemagne, Bodhisattva. I mean, it's Reelin' in the Years. It's just a great live capture. And I've had this on CD forever, and it's always really awesome to hear these guys perform these songs. But to finally have it on vinyl is cool. And honestly, I totally forgot that this was coming out until we filled out our list standing in line. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, there you go. And that's the other thing. I filled my list out, and I'm like, I might get 2 of these. And I got all of the ones that I wanted.
Yeah, I think that was the other thing that kind of maybe separated this RSD from other ones.
It seemed like there were larger numbers.
Yeah,
of pressings.
the record stores had ample numbers of the really desirable stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Steely Dan, Alive in America. Go listen to it, kids.
Nice.
It's ear candy.
Well, I picked up another one that I've been searching for on CD forever, but they finally came out with it on vinyl. It's Camper Van Beethoven covering the complete Tusk album.
So strange. I mean,
It's strange, but I love that album.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for the Camper Van Beethoven CD. I mean, it's expensive to even get CD. I'm sure it's coming down now, but this was a 2003 release. At one time, the band, it was right before this was kind of their reunion album.
Yeah.
But they recorded it the year before the reunion.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, I love hearing bands cover entire albums. I'm a big Dream Theater fan, and they do that a lot. Like at a live performance, they'll cover an entire album and release it on their own independent label, not on their major label that they're on. They've done Master of Puppets. They've done Iron Maiden albums. I mean, it's really cool to hear bands' interpretations of these records. And one of my favorite examples of this recently is Ryan Adams recorded his own version of Taylor Swift's 1989. And it is fantastic.
Yeah, I love all that. I've often thought I would love to do a concert series of bands covering complete albums, and you give them a list and they got to pick one.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I love everything right down to not the back cover, but right down to the front cover. It's just so well done.
It's funny. The bass player said that a lot of the band members hate the 79 album, saying it was like the Magnificent Ambersons of rock. And it was just a good, really cocaine-damaged horror in excess, which is why they took it on.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I know a lot of people that love that that Fleetwood Mac record. So, yeah.
And even Lindsey Buckingham said they took the songs in such a different place. I thought, wow, why didn't we not come up with that? Just the fact that a group would sit around and remake a whole album like that, it was just a trip. I have to say, I love it.
That's cool.
So when you hear from one of the creators that he loves it,
especially him.
Yes.
Because he's an especially stodgy kind of dude. That's an excellent example, man. I love it. My next one is Stray Cats, Rumble in Brighton. And this is a live album. It's a recording from 2004. And it's got all the hits. Rumble in Brighton, Double Talkin' Baby, Something's Wrong with My Radio, Stray Cat Strut. They do a version of Sleepwalk on here. I just love the Stray Cats. We've talked about different bands doing the nostalgia thing or just the cycle of things. Like we've talked about B-52s, and that was kind of like them doing the 50s thing again with the hairstyles and surf type music and all that stuff. Stray Cats, when they became famous, they were kind of hearkening back to the 50s, the rockabilly kind of thing that all rock was based on.
Yeah.
And there's just, they were originators in the sense that they brought that back, and there is nobody that does it better. And my other thing about the Stray Cats is, Slim Jim Phantom is the only drummer that is allowed to stand up when he plays.
It's a long time to stand.
And this is a double album. So, and it's numbered here, 27, what's that say? 2780 of 3000. So
that will become collectible.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe.
They're all.
I just love, I love the band. I think that Brian Setzer is a gem and should get a lot more respect than he does. The whole band should.
That's good. That's
go
good
out,
one.
listen to the new Stray Cats, Rumble in Brighton from 2004. What's your last one?
Last on the list is something I bet not a lot of people have heard of. X-Mal Deutschland. And
Nope.
You're just like, nope. And this is the Peel Sessions. And so X-Mal Deutschland was founded when they started. Now, obviously, this is not the band that started because it was an all-female band. And we see a couple dudes here. Mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of shirtless, too. Different. Whatever. But they were part of the... I'm going to screw this up. It's basically the German New Wave. It's the Neue Deutsche Welle. Or Welly.
Okay.
I don't know. My German. Fix me.
Yeah. We'll see you in the comments.
But this is the complete Peel sessions from, I think they did from, how many times? I thought I read somewhere they did like 4 different Peel sessions from 82 to 85. And this is the collection of all that stuff.
Cool.
And the Peel sessions are basically live in the studio.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So they're although I grew up in the 80s, these were one of the bands that were not on my radar. Mm-hmm. And I heard them listening to my 80s Underground podcast.
And then kind of circle back to it.
And right. I'm like, oh, X-Mal Deutschland. I really like them because you never see any of their stuff anywhere.
Well, that's one of the things that I think is really good about the internet and having all that information. We've talked about it 100 times. Back in the day, there was so much out there, but there weren't easy ways to comb through it.
Right.
And now it's really cool to have that information at your fingertips. And while it probably has a positive side and a negative side, just the availability, being able to check something out and find out if you like it before you buy it. It's cool. It's totally different than it was in the 80s. It was a commitment to buy a record back then.
It really was.
So that's awesome. And Record Store Day does that. they don't only release the things that you would expect them to, the things that you've known have sold millions of copies. They release a lot of stuff that is under the radar for sure.
That's just not out there, or they re-release stuff that's not well known.
Right. And that scratches an itch for a lot of different folks.
Yeah.
And obviously the idea is to get new people into the stores and buying physical media. But the other idea is to scratch those itches for the people that have been there for 19 years. And next year will be the 20th anniversary of Record Store Day. So that's an excellent example. And it's just cool that something that you discovered popped up in an RSD release.
Yeah, and they were part of the dark wave. So if you're into somebody like, Sisters of Mercy,
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of the same jam.
That's cool. Awesome.
What's your last one?
Well, my last one is Billy Squier's 1993 album, Tell the Truth. This has never been released on vinyl, which shocks me because that 90s era, they produced vinyl through the 90s, but in much lower numbers. But yeah, this has never been released on vinyl. And this is Billy's last album with Capitol, which now he obviously owns. And this is just a great collection. You got songs like Angry, Rhythm, A Bridge So Far, Lovin' You Ain't So Hard is another great song on here. What I love about this is Billy Squier was very involved in the re-release of this. They did a lot of social media stuff of seeing him working with the producers for remastering it and at the places where they're pressing the records. And Billy's kind of been completely removed from the music industry for a while. So that's the part about it that I love, is that just, maybe he's going to get back into doing some stuff. And I'm a Billy Squier believer. I mean, I don't think he ever did anything bad. And this is a really good record, and a pretty heavy record too, a little heavier than I remembered it being. So yeah. So Billy Squier involved in Record Store Day.
Nice.
I mean, everybody's invited to the party.
You just got to come out.
Yeah, you just got to come out. And we had a good time. It was
we waited in line a little bit, which was fine because there's great conversations. You meet super people online.
Yeah, and great conversations that you're involved in, conversations that you're just hearing. There was a guy across the street who got a flat tire that was repairing his flat tire for about 45 minutes, and he got it going.
Yes.
But, this brings people together. And that's what we always talk about with this show. It's a community, and Record Store Day really it's turned into a joyous celebration.
It's a celebration of vinyl.
Right. And we do see recurring characters popping up, but you also always see new people and new younger people. And that's really what Record Store Day is about. So we wanted to share some of our finds with you. Why don't you share some of your finds with us? We want you to also go to the comment section and do what, John?
Well, if they're going to the comment section, comment.
Yes, and share this wonderful thing called Vinyl Ventures with anybody that you know that loves music, because the best kind of advertisement for us is word of mouth. And we really enjoy having these back and forths with you guys. We really enjoy the community that we've established here. And we look forward to the next Record Store Day in November, where we can share with you what we get then. But in the meantime, just enjoy that music and, jump into that time machine and take a trip. For Wheels, I'm Jay, and we'll see you all the next time around.